The drama surrounding Sophie Cunningham's black eye and her explosive defense of Caitlin Clark during a fiery Indiana Fever showdown with the Connecticut Sun has shaken the very foundation of the WNBA. What began as yet another night where Clark found herself targeted, battered, disrespected on the court quickly morphed into a moment of reckoning, one that exposed not only the league's glaring officiating failures, but also ignited a powerful new force of accountability in Sophie Cunningham. In the latest leaked footage, Cunningham isn't just defending her teammate, she's waging a war. She's staring down an entire system that has spent months turning a blind eye to the mistreatment of women's basketball's biggest star. This wasn't an isolated incident. Tuesday night's game wasn't just another chapter in the Caitlin Clark saga. It was the culmination of weeks, if not months, of dirty hits, unchecked aggression, and flagrant fouls that have become far too normalized. And finally, someone decided to fight back. The footage reveals exactly what the league didn't want anyone to see. A deliberate, systematic targeting of Clark that boiled over when J.C. Sheldon, her longtime college rival, poked her in the eye and invaded her space. Clark shoved back, justifiably. And then Marina Mabrey, seemingly out for blood, blindsided Clark and drove her to the floor like it was WrestleMania, not professional basketball. The referees, silent, motionless, complicit. But what followed was something the WNBA simply wasn't ready for. Sophie Cunningham, who had been holding herself back all game, finally exploded. For anyone watching, her energy was impossible to ignore. She leaped from the bench, fury in her eyes, only to be physically restrained by her coaches. You could see it in her face, hear it in her voice. She was mouthing the words with ferocity. "That's my teammate. That's enough." And she meant it. This wasn't just an emotional reaction. It was personal. Because while the officials refused to protect Clark, and while league leadership pretended everything was business as usual, Cunningham knew it was time to take matters into her own hands. When her opportunity came in the final minute, she didn't hesitate. J.C. Sheldon was flying down the court, and Cunningham met her like a storm, wrapping her up in what some are calling a textbook Muay Thai clinch and slamming her to the hardwood. Cunningham, a trained black belt since the age of 6, executed the takedown with precision. It was controlled, it was deliberate, and it sent a message. You mess with Caitlin Clark, and you'll answer to me. It didn't matter that the Fever were up by 17 points. It didn't matter that the win was already secured. What mattered was making sure the next cheap shot would never come without consequence. The crowd at Gainbridge Fieldhouse erupted, not in horror, but in admiration. They saw what Cunningham had done and recognized the rare, raw authenticity in her act. It was the kind of fearless loyalty that fans and franchises dream of. By the time Cunningham was ejected, fans were on their feet, chanting, clapping, and showing a level of gratitude that no fine or suspension could ever erase. Because Cunningham hadn't just defended Clark, she had defended the entire future of the Indiana Fever. And the league's response, predictable, disgraceful, and borderline insulting? Cunningham was fined, of course. Meanwhile, Marina Mabrey, same player who blindsided Clark with a violent, unprovoked shove, had her technical foul quietly upgraded to a flagrant 2. That's it. No ejection, no suspension. It's just a slap on the wrist. Somehow, in the WNBA's eyes, protecting a teammate and launching a sneak attack are equivalent. The double standard was glaring. Fans noticed. So did players. Sophie Cunningham made sure they'd never forget it. What happened next can only be described as poetic justice. Within hours of the incident, Cunningham's jersey completely sold out on the WNBA's website.
It's not a small, medium, or XL left.
Indiana fans weren't just making a fashion statement, they were voting with their wallets. They were sending a clear message to the league. Protect our star, or we will. Cunningham became a sensation overnight, a symbol of resistance against the WNBA's culture of silence, and a walking embodiment of the loyalty that Caitlin Clark deserves. But not everyone was applauding. ESPN personalities like Stephen A. Smith and Monica McNutt took the mic the next morning and delivered what may go down as the most tone-deaf takes in sports media history. Instead of condemning the targeting of Clark, they victim-blamed her. Smith even compared Clark to Larry Bird, suggesting that, like Bird, She brings it on herself because she talks trash. McNutt doubled down, implying that Clark invites physicality through her style of play. It was a stunning display of media gaslighting, as if excellence and confidence were now punishable offenses in women's basketball. Meanwhile, Fever head coach Stephanie White didn't mince words. She saw it coming from the opening tip. Told officials it would happen. She begged for intervention. None came. She later said plainly, "You knew this was going to happen. They've got to get control of it. They've got to be better." But they weren't. And so, Sophie Cunningham became the control. She became the balance to a league that had lost it. Let's be clear. This wasn't some reckless tantrum by a frustrated bench player. Cunningham's actions were intentional, controlled, and born from weeks of watching her teammate get tossed around like a rag doll. Last year, Clark had no protection. No one stood up. No one fought back. This year, the Fever made sure she wouldn't be alone again. They brought in Sophie Cunningham, and now no one can say Clark is unprotected. Her enforcer has arrived and she's not backing down. Cunningham's presence has already changed the identity of this team. She's not just a body on the floor. She's a force of nature. Her love for Clark radiates through every technical, foul, every intense stare down, and every shoulder she throws to stop an oncoming cheap shot. This is deeper than basketball. It's a statement of principle, a bond forged not in locker room pep talks, but in the heat of battle when no one else was willing to throw the first punch. And yet, the league still doesn't get it. They're too busy issuing fines and managing PR damage to realize what they've unleashed. They wanted to protect an image. Instead, they created a warrior. Sophie Cunningham isn't just trending. She's transcending. She's become something far more potent than a player, a symbol, one that represents everything the WNBA has long lacked: passion, protection, and unapologetic heart. This movement isn't stopping. Fans are packing the stands not just for Clark's jaw-dropping threes, but to see if her bodyguard will have to step in again. They're watching closely now, not just the plays, but the moments between them, the shoves, the elbows, the trash talk. And if another player tries to use Caitlin Clark as a punching bag, there's no question what's going to happen. Sophie will be there, waiting, watching, ready to answer. What's even more absurd is the narrative being spun on social media, with some even suggesting that Cunningham's retaliation was racially motivated. Despite the fact that both she and Sheldon are white, the accusations are desperate attempts to shift the narrative, deflect from the real issue. The WNBA has failed to protect its biggest asset. It took a teammate to step in and do the job that the referees and league officials refused to do, and now the WNBA is scrambling. They've tried to fine away the problem. They've tried to act like this is just another day in the league. But it's not. This is a reckoning. Sophie Cunningham has fundamentally altered the expectations for what it means to be a teammate in this league. She's not here to sell smiles or blend in. She's here to make noise, protect her squad, and hold the league accountable. Her return to the court will be one of the most anticipated events of the season. Fans aren't just showing up for the jump shot or the final score anymore. They're showing up for the story, for the loyalty, the grit, and the courage. They're showing up because the Fever finally have a backbone. And her name is Sophie Cunningham. So now, with eyes across the country glued to every Fever game, the message is out. The league can't silence it. The refs can't ignore it. The haters can't deny it. Sophie Cunningham has set a new standard. One that says if the league won't protect Clark, she will. If the media won't speak up, her fists will. If the WNBA wants to stop this new era of accountability and protection, they'll have to do a whole lot more than fines. Because now everyone knows, the Fever didn't just recruit a player. They summoned a storm. Storm with a black belt and a mission. And she's not done yet. If you're fired up by Sophie Cunningham's stand and want to see more, fearless loyalty in women's sports, drop a comment below. Should more players step up like Sophie? Are the refs doing enough? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications to stay updated on every powerful moment from Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever. This story is only just beginning.